Expressed in this blog are hosted on my own website, are strictly personal and do not reflect the views of any organization. Hello and welcome friends once again to Straight Bat, my weekly video blog where, as the title suggests, I comment with a straight bat. Now, 2 rounds have been completed of the general election marathon of 2024, 5 more to go. About a third of the electorate has voted, 2/3 are still left. Too early, you might think, to make any conclusive predictions, but also enough, I think, after having travelled around a fair bit, to get a sense of a few key trends. So from my travels so far, here are 10 trends that I have picked up, which might help you understand Kaun Jeetega 2024, who is winning the battle of 2024 and by how much. Number 1, to be honest, this is the most unenthused Thanda, cold electorate I have seen in a very long time, certainly since 2009. By contrast, in 2014, the voter was really charged up because he wanted to teach a lesson and defeat the Congress. In 2019, the voter wanted to reward Prime Minister Modi for his muscular leadership in the backdrop of Pulwama. This time, I sense above all else an exhausted voter, thaka hua voter. The last 5 years have been tough, my friends, on many Indians. COVID deaths, lockdowns, falling incomes, job crisis. It's been a tough period. So when a gung-ho politician comes knocking on your door with a basket of promises in such tough times, the first reaction is of cynicism and fatigue. Thak gaye hain. Where were these guys when we needed them most is a remark I have often heard on the campaign trail already. In Noida studios, there is this drumbeat of Ab ki baar 400 par. On the ground, my friends, the mood is sullen and not quite so euphoric, except among core supporters of the BJP and, dare I say, a section of the urban middle class. Number 2, take the case of the Ram Mandir issue. Hindutva is the USP of the BJP for its supporters. Building a mandir in Ayodhya was a long-standing demand. Hindu voters that I've met are by and large pleased that the mandir is now a reality. But yet on the street, the mandir plank itself doesn't excite voters anymore. The mandir at best is a symbol of what I see is a sharpening Hindu-Muslim voter divide, especially in urban and semi-urban centers. The BJP is seen as the party that unapologetically under Prime Minister Modi serves Hindu interests. The Congress under the Gandhis is typecast as a pro-Muslim party. Are we then surprised that after the low voter turnout in round 1, down by about 4%, the Prime Minister has gone back to basics with dog whistles on the Hindu-Muslim issue? Or that a murder in Karnataka, tragic as it is, has once again been given a love jihad twist. The BJP, you see, wants to now galvanize its flock, who they fear might have taken the election for granted and therefore not come in the large numbers that were expected to polling booths. Takeaway number 3, Modi ki guarantee on the street has instant recall, but it does not attract uniformly positive responses across India. If you're in a BJP bastion like South Bengaluru, you will get frenzied voices chanting Modi, Modi. But travel into rural Maharashtra, to areas that are struggling with drought-like conditions, and the Modi ki guarantee slogan carries little or no weight. In fact, the further you go from the big cities, the less is the enthusiasm for Modi ki guarantee, the greater the focus one finds on local issues. Takeaway number 4, and this brings me to a key point. Rural India isn't shining, or if it is, I haven't seen it yet. The highways linking towns are shining brightly, but rural roads in many parts of the country are still far from being concretized. A VVIP constituency like Baramati town in Maharashtra, for example, has glitzy malls, Toyota showrooms, branded jewelry stores. But you just have to travel 50 to 70 kilometers out and water scarcity after a period of deficit rainfall hits you. A tanker here comes once in 8 days. If you want water, you pay 200 rupees for a big drum, rupees 60 for a smaller drum. Agrarian distress in terms of rising input costs for farming is real and is hurting. Takeaway number 5. While there isn't a feel-good factor among those living on the margins, there isn't anger either. This is important. Gussa nahi hai. The Modi government's welfare schemes for the poor have partly helped save the government from creeping anti-incumbency, the direct transfers in people's accounts. Yes, people tell me that their incomes have not risen from jobs, but at least they are getting free rations is what many of them tell me. It is almost as if the public feels hemmed in by what they perceive first to be the lack of options and B, the fact that Mr. Modi is trying his best. As a result, there is a willingness to give the present Modi government another chance for at least having provided a stable government in difficult times. Added to this is a sense of almost the inevitability of the outcome, that whatever happens, Mr. Modi will almost certainly be back in the saddle. This is in that sense a Tina election, reinforced you would say by the way the media plays it out. When it comes to the leadership, there is no alternative. Takeaway number 6. While Prime Minister Modi still remains popular, the MPs of the BJP are not seen in a similar positive light. Many of them are accused by voters of being arrogant, some corrupted, and many disconnected from the voter. I am not surprised that the BJP has changed more than 100 of their sitting MPs, or over 30%. The anti-incumbency at the moment is against local MPs, many of whom aren't favorably regarded. Takeaway number 7. What of the opposition then? The Congress, I am afraid, is still the Kamzor Kadi, especially in North and Central India, the weak link. Rahul Gandhi is not seen as a pappu, as the BJP would like to portray him on social media, but his Nyay or caste census campaign still has very little resonance on the ground outside the Congress's committed voters. The problem seems to me to be the lack of an effective organization on the ground that can translate ideas into action. The regional parties within the opposition umbrella, be it the DMK in Tamil Nadu or the Shiv Sena in Maharashtra, seem more up and ready for this contest. Even Sharad Pawar at 83 seems to have more energy than many Congress leaders in Maharashtra. The Congress leaders at the state level complain of a lack of resources, but this alone cannot explain the lack of preparedness, the organizational chaos, or the credibility deficit, or dare I say, even a lack of a fight. Karnataka is the one state where I travelled to where I sensed that the Congress there was more than willing to fight, but generally otherwise all you hear from Congress workers in different parts is one long crib about how their party is struggling to combat the cash-rich BJP machine. Takeaway number 8, which brings me to strategy. The BJP has gone into this election with a clear Sam, Dam, Modi-centric, booth-centric strategy. Do whatever it takes to win this election with Mr. Modi as your mascot. ED is on your side. Voters believe EC is on their side. Then you tie up with a Kumaraswamy in Karnataka who was your enemy only a year ago. Put up Ajit Pawar's wife against Sharad Pawar's daughter in Baramati. Forget the means, forget what you spoke about each other just a few months ago. Just focus on the ends. While all of this has led to some disquiet among the older generation of BJP workers who feel cheated, they tell me, by short-term opportunism, the prospect of Modi 3.0 is enough to hold them together for now. My own sense is that the BJP will or could pay a price for such short-termism in the next round of Vidhan Sabha polls, where the Prime Minister may not be an overwhelming factor. On the other hand, the India alliance in terms of strategy has gone into this poll without any clear strategy, no cohesive leadership or a focused agenda. Anti-Modism, my friends, is not enough to win a general election. If the BJP therefore is still well ahead, it's because the opposition has missed far too many opportunities and is simply still seen as non-credible by many. Takeaway number 9. What of the Constitution is in danger, Samvidhan khatre mein hai ya Loktantra khatre mein hai, democracy is in danger slogan that's been echoed by opposition leaders and their supporters. Yes, in some pockets, the fear that if the Constitution is changed, reservations will go is echoing, especially among Dalit and tribal groups. But on the ground, particularly in urban India, I certainly don't see too many Indians worried about the fate of democratic institutions or a leader being labeled as a dictator by his rivals. Frankly, far too many Indians across the urban-rural divide are just concerned about their core livelihood issues at the moment. I'll give you an example. I met an auto driver in Coimbatore who used to be a job worker for a hosiery maker. Remember, Coimbatore is a hosiery capital. He has lost his small business in COVID times and was now plying an auto to keep ends going. His biggest concern is to ensure somehow or the other a decent education for his children. And that, to my mind, typifies what I am seeing among many Indians. They just want to focus on their bare necessities at the moment. Takeaway number 10. So my friends, to the big question. Will the BJP get 370 seats? Will the NDA touch 400 par or 400? I don't want to wish to get into the numbers. I am not a psephologist. But I do think that that original 400 number was clearly designed by the BJP to play mind games with the opposition and then was latched onto by a gleeful cheerleading media. More realistically, the BJP's target for now is to ensure they remain, I would say, in the 290 to 310 seat range, comfortably above the halfway mark, and then you can add the seats of their allies. Can they really do it? As I said, I don't see a wave on the ground unlike in 2014 or 19. But at the same time, I get a sense that the voter isn't in the mood to experiment just yet. Which is why I believe that Mr. Modi and the BJP are still winning this election. Mr. Modi is still India's Neta number 1 by some distance. In 2014, Prime Minister Modi symbolized hope. In 2019, he represented strength. In 2024, he perhaps represents continuity. But I want to add a caveat here. On the ground, that aura of invincibility which is created in TV studios is gone. Partly because local anti-incumbency is slowly beginning to rear its head in different parts, which leads to seat-by-seat fights. And I can tell you this, that MPs across party lines who are missing in action, especially during the COVID period, are on notice. In fact, the more I travel across the country, the more I am being reminded of an old truism. Never take the Indian voter for granted. ये public है, ये सब जानती है. So stay humble, don't get arrogant is the message. Think about it. That was the Straight Bat. Do of course subscribe to my YouTube channel for many more such videos. For now, stay well, stay safe. Jai Hind, Namaskar.